Hi guys, nice seeing you. So happy to be here with you live. I will be sharing with you some amazing tips for overcoming stress. My name is Andrea Caprio, in case you don't know me yet, and maybe I should start with saying hello to everybody. Right now, I am sharing today really great tips about stress. Now, stress is something probably that is the number one thing that led me to become a nutrition coach, actually, because stress is my second name. I should not say that. I have worked on it, it's much better. But I've definitely had a fair share of stress in my life, like many of us, of course. But it definitely has affected me a lot because I didn't know how to deal with stress. It has affected me more and has led, as a result, to a lot of health issues as after, or when I had stress. Sorry, I have to just move around because I have a delay here and see myself in a delay, and it drives me mad. So, stress is something that we cannot avoid, and probably most of you have realized that in the last year and a half or so, stress levels have increased, right? At the moment, again, they're in an all-time high. There's always something happening, right? I have literally this week, every of my client has said, "Oh, Andrea, I'm so stressed. I cannot cope. Help, please," and so on. So we cannot take stress out of our life, but we can very often diminish it and kind of channel it a little bit better. And of course, we can work on our stress response. And that's something I want to share today. So I will share with you my 8 top tips on how to improve your stress levels, and how to go about really going, into managing this whole stress situation better. I'm just checking if I can share something. No, that seems still not to work. Give me a second. I want to share the link actually because I've just published a blog post. No, I cannot do this because I'm using here special software, and obviously that doesn't work. I need still to figure that one out. Okay, not to worry. I will send it in case you're watching the live. Please do ask me for the link for the blog post to give you those 8 tips, so you have it all together. And of course, if you rewatch it, just check in the comments. I will post it in there, or just ask me and put a comment in there. So let's talk about stress. Who is stressed, by the way? What is your number one stressor? So if you're watching it live or even as a replay, just write in the comment, what is your number one stressor in your life? Is it work? Is it family? Is it your children? Is it your partner? Is it maybe your health or so? What's the number one stressor, right? So first of all, it's super important to know, of course, what are the stress triggers, right? I always say, and that's really part of the way I'm working with my clients, is finding out the root cause of what's going on, why we have that, what are the triggers, and being super clear on them, and then not pushing them away, but rather face and embrace them, like face them and embrace them, acknowledge them, and then obviously let go and work on them is really an important part. So being clear of, how much stress are you dealing with every day, or is it a weekly stress? Is it like just on a certain day? Is it a certain time or so? What is causing it? More in the morning? Is it more at work or so? What it is in the evenings maybe? And how do you feel during these times? So that is really something that's super important, just to find out, right? Is just to know what is the stress level there, and what is the trigger for it. Because very often, once we find it, then, we can obviously work on it, right? And then it's also, the second step is to compartmentalize your life. So getting a little bit clearer on, which areas are there, and work in different areas at different times. So not mix up our work with our private life, for example, right? it is difficult. I do know that especially a lot of people, with the whole pandemic, have been working from home, and kind of it flows from one thing into the other. And I have had that in my life. I've been running my business. I have my office here at home, but I've been running my business from home for many years, even before I was a nutrition coach, on and off and so on. I've learned very early to really make the difference. Like, I do dress up in the morning, so for me that's the signal I'm at work, right? I'm not in my pajamas or anything. I dress up, and for me that's the sign, I work. We have in our house really great, we have our offices, we have separate offices, my husband and I, upstairs, so we go upstairs to work. Sometimes there's a traffic jam right on the stairs, but yeah, it is. And then, in the evenings when we go down, we're finished with work, we close the door, and that's done. So that's really, really important to do. Also, how you deal, spending time with family and so on and so on. So have different compartmentals that you're separating. And then the next step is to change your perspective. Now, very often, I hear from many people like, oh, everything is so difficult. Oh, it's so hard. My whole life is so difficult. My work is always, always hard, and so on. When you say that, I have to tell you, it's going to be hard, right? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be always stay like this. Because if you tell yourself that over and over, I can guarantee you will be more stressed. You will feel that you have more workload, or whatever your thoughts are about. The negative thoughts do affect our lives. It's undeniable. I mean, there's so many, studies done around that, and so many things. And I've literally seen it with all my clients, right? It's a big work I do when I work with my clients in my group coaching program, or one-on-one or so, is to change the mindset, right? To get from a negative mindset into a positive one. And the mind eventually, when we see things positive, will catch up, right? It gets the message and will then also lead towards more positive actions, right? So, and when we also, see it all negatively, then we get easily overwhelmed. It seems like a big mountain, and rather we don't go. So again, going into the small little pieces of your task, of your stress, whatever it is, right, and seeing it really as it is, not as this big everything is negative kind of thing, then we can kind of work slowly through one piece after the other. Right? Make sense? Hope so. I hope you take note. And by the way, again, just a quick reminder, you can find the blog post as well here. Oh, by the way, I should perhaps put my microphone a little bit in front. But you can find the blog posts as well with all those tips together in a little bit more detail. I actually should put my aircon off. It's very hot here. Right, number 4 is make more time for relaxation and fun, right? Also important, if you only work on your work or on your stress items or so, and I'm sometimes a little bit guilty, I eventually get too overwhelmed. So it's a very important idea, to have time for your fun things, to get some time, self-care, relaxed time, or at least take some break right in between. So maybe schedule some break or something like that. But just kind of taking a little bit the foot off and having a little bit of fun is making it much easier. And then, of course, the number 5 is watch out for your health, right? If you are constantly working hard and not paying attention to eating healthy, right? Or sleeping enough, doing some exercise, getting enough water in, taking a break and breathing or so. And if you are eventually, your health suffers, maybe, I don't know, your cholesterol or your blood pressure is high, or your blood sugar is high, or you put on weight maybe, or, things like that. They will all add to your stress, right? Just eating too much, right, is a stress for the body and increases the stress you already have in your life, right? Just through the digestion, right? So you definitely want to look into making sure to have a healthy lifestyle throughout. And that is, of course, something, I'm so passionate about helping my clients, because I've seen when I, help myself or so, it was improving so much my own stress levels. And now I have a stress from time to time. Yes, I don't deny it, but it's much less, right? And that leads me to point number 6, keep physically active, right? It's obviously part of the lifestyle, but a regular exercise is really a wonderful stress booster, right? Or buster, sorry, stress buster, not booster. And it can improve your mood and lower your stress and obviously boost your energy. I have a really great regimen in the morning where, I do in the morning my meditation, which is, by the way, a great thing for stress. And then I have my 20 minutes exercise. I have a great app I'm using, and at the moment I'm really upping it a little bit. So I do quite relatively hard program, but I feel so good after, right? And even during the day or so, if you feel you're a little bit down, maybe just a little bit of bicycle or whatever it is, right? Or jumping on a rebounder. That's something I really like doing. It's actually, I think I should put my rebounder here in my office so I can get that in as well. I have a stationary bike that I put there, but just to get a little bit your body moving helps with stress. And I mentioned it already, meditation. And that's my point number 7, is gratitude and mind-body techniques are really, really helpful to help to overcome stress. So if you're going a little bit more into meditation or other things, a walk, an easy walk could be something like that. It could be also, maybe I went for a massage, a shiatsu massage. That was actually amazing, I must say. Or, whatever it is that helps you. Journaling is something, or just writing 3 things you're grateful for every day, or your wins or whatever. These kind of practices, when you establish them every day as your anchor point, is helpful with stress. And now let me get to number 8, and that is, of course, that stress management is never easy, right? If you have been hit by overwhelm and being worried all the time, and you have maybe worries about finance, or you're stressing about your health or your family or so, then it's definitely something, eventually it gets out of out of proportion, and it's kind of a vicious circle. So it's really important to get sometimes some help. So maybe some friends or family or so that can support you, or you might have some community programs, or of course you could ask me to help you, or somebody else similar as me. The way I'm working is really on a holistic way. So I'm looking at the emotions equally as the nutrition and lifestyle, the spiritual health, and as I said, at the root cause. That's part of my food freedom formula with the 5R steps, which is really recognize the root cause, which then is reset the body's healing ability. So actually we can get, we can work on things. Then it's repair those root causes, relearn healthy habits, the habits I mentioned, so we overcome, and of course reset the mindset, because if we continue thinking negatively, this is something, you are most likely not going to heal that well. You can join my Facebook group, by the way, where I share daily tips. The link is as well is in the blog post, so check out the link in the comments for the blog post, so you get actually all those 8 tips I mentioned for you in a little bit more detail than I shared here, so you can remember to tackle your stress. Now, what I would recommend you is that you always start with one thing, right? I call it the tiny habit, and that's, by the way, comes from the book Tiny Habits, which I highly recommend if you want to implement healthy habits, or whatever habits, by the way. Start tiny, find something that you want to tackle, bind it or combine it to an existing habit. So have a trigger. Whenever I sit down for my cup of coffee and I finish my cup of coffee, I meditate for 5 minutes. And then I celebrate with yay, or whatever it is, right? This is, by the way, taken from the book Tiny Habits. And that is something that's highly, highly helpful and useful. I really help a lot of my clients implementing healthy habits like that. So you could, those habits I mentioned today, you could just choose one, something that's super easy for you. Make it really easy. Don't opt for an hour meditation if you've never done. Opt for just 1 minute of meditation, but do that every day after you finish your cup of coffee or whatever your trigger will be, and celebrate, because that's your brain that craves this kick there, the celebration kick. and will then seek out to repeat this action actually that led to the celebration. It kind of shortcuts your dopamine hit that you like to have, or your brain rather. Right, so I would love to know any questions maybe, or something maybe you could share actually here in the comments. What is the one action you're gonna take to improve your stress levels? So I will repeat this, but before I do so, also remember, if you need help with this, please feel free to book a call with me, or just in the comments ask for help, and I'm happy to get on a chat with you, and we can talk a little bit more on how to improve your health or your stress levels. So number 1, get clear on your stress triggers. Number 2, compartmentalize your life better. Number 3, change your perspective. Number 4, make time for relaxation and fun. Number 5, watch out for your health. 6, keep physically active. 7, practice gratitude and mind-body techniques and mindfulness in general. And number 8, stress management is not easy. Get some help if you need it. And I'm here for help for you. With help for you. Sorry, should have said that right. My name is Andrea Caprio. I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, I'm here every Wednesday around the same time, and I look forward to seeing you. And please do comment and maybe just give me a thumbs up or something like that would be appreciated. But maybe also in the comments, just share a little bit about your journey, your issues about stress, and what action you're gonna take. I look forward to seeing you next week, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.